a peaceful world bathed in a strange, holy light. But a dark prophecy foretells an apocalyptic war, a clash of heroes destined to destroy everything, leaving nothing behind but a desolate crater. To prevent that future, one man devises a plan. He will sponsor the very heroes from the prophecy, but he never imagined how big it would all become. The story, however, starts somewhere much simpler. He was an overworked slave, reborn into a noble's body. But in this new world, he's illiterate with no abilities. A maid's voice calls him to dinner. He stares in awe at the incredible banquet. After the meal, a maid offers to prepare his bath. He's living the life of a spoiled young master. He's loving this life despite his confusion. He's told his brothers are returning home. She finds his ignorance about his own family suspicious. The family name hits him like a lightning bolt, an ominously familiar name from his past. The truth hits him and he sinks into the water. He realizes he's inside the game Psychedelia, the very same brutal RPG he once played. He remembers spending countless hours grinding, sacrificing his entire life just to beat it. The game's story begins when the five great sins appear. Their first act is destroying the corrupt Palacio family. He remembers this family from the game's tutorial. They're the starter villains meant to be wiped out, a family destined to be destroyed at the start. And he is their disposable third son, Alain Palacio. Alain prays to return to his miserable past. This luxury is a 10-year death sentence. He's been reborn with zero special perks. But then a realization hits him hard. His knowledge of the game is his true power. He decides to reform the five great sins. He'll change them while they're still just kids. 2 months later, his plan is in motion. He's even hired a personal knight, Evan. Alain praises his new knight's capabilities. Evan points out Alain's stoic, unreadable expression. Alain forces a desperate smile, unsettling his knight. He struggles to control his new body's facial muscles. But Evan is a rare loyalist in this treacherous world. The knight brings up the raid's target, a girl named Yusha. Even to his veteran eyes, she was something special. He recalls the sight of the chained prisoners below. The girl possessed immense power even in chains. Evan questions why Alain abandoned such a powerful asset. Alain knows it looks like a wasted opportunity. Alain knows exactly who Yusha is, a member of the Blood Clan, destined to become the Sin of Wrath. But if she grows up peacefully, she won't join the destruction. He's just defused the first major threat to his future. He clears his throat, preparing an excuse for Evan. The time hasn't come yet, he says mysteriously. The knight is completely baffled by the cryptic response. Alain orders him to support Yusha from the shadows. He then hands Evan a letter for the girl. Alain watches him go, hoping his plan works. He remembers a specific incantation from the game, a holy spell meant to calm the Sin of Wrath. But in the game's story, it always failed. Instead, it triggered her monstrous transformation, unleashing a demon of pure, unstoppable rage. The failure was the start of a brutal boss fight. Alain stretches, confident he's averted that future. He's banking on a simple phrase from the game, a phrase that appeals to her clan's fanaticism. Miles away, Yusha reads the letter he sent. Evan senses her absurdly powerful met. But she's a strange, emotionless child. She confirms the letter is from Alain Palacio. Her power flares, demanding to know why he left her. Evan is terrified by the raw, visible energy. This level of power is only seen in masters. He suddenly recalls Alain's cryptic words. He repeats the excuse, the time isn't right. The letter's final phrase convinces her completely. Her sudden devotion leaves Evan speechless. Under a blood moon, she pledges her loyalty. Meanwhile, Alain is happy to have survived another day. He's already planning to reform the next sin. But finding the next sin is proving difficult. Evan arrives, reporting he's rescued another target. Alain confirms the child was rescued from a slave market. He remembers the target's impossible speed during the rescue. Suddenly, his arrogant older brother, Tonio, appears. He immediately mocks Alain for being illiterate. Alain struggles, wanting to fight back against the bully. Alain bows low, trying to escape the confrontation. But Tonio pins him down with a cruel foot. He hurls a dagger just past Alain's head. A new voice interrupts the violent display. The eldest son, Palacio Leo, has arrived. He threatens Tonio, telling him to get lost. Alain remembers his family's role in the game. They ran a criminal organization called Avalon. The degenerate brothers fought for family control. Leo was the Underworld's prostitution king. The two brothers were always locked in a brutal rivalry. Antonio, the second son, was the Underworld's drug lord. Alain knows he must avoid these dangerous men to survive. With a final warning, Leo vanishes in a flash. Alain reaffirms his plan to act weak and incompetent. He collapses onto a couch, completely drained by the ordeal. Evan watches him, still processing the family's cruelty. He can't understand how this boy finds secret targets. Alain seems too weak to even care for himself. The knight concludes his master is truly peculiar. Evan questions sending the newly rescued child away. Alain knows the boy is a world-ending threat. He was found in the Kalyan Kingdom's slave market. This is Deus Mycalian, the game's second boss. Sold and abused, he was passed between masters. This trauma forged him into the sin of sloth. His cruelty terrified even the most hardened players. Alain shudders, remembering the game's brutal lore. He gives Evan the same excuse: the time isn't right. Alain confirms he's using letters to build trust. He sent the boy to a trusted contact for care. Miles away, Deus stands alone and broken. A mysterious figure descends before him, declaring that the boy has been shattered. She sees the scars left by his tormentors. She identifies his suffering as the work of the Black Goat, but she claims the Great Moon has chosen him. She urges him to embrace his newfound power. She demands his loyalty for the one who saved him. Deus is consumed by a vortex of raw energy. She offers the boy a letter from his savior. Miles away, Yusha pens her first reply to Alain. Alain's research is interrupted by Evan's frantic arrival. The knight stammers out news about the second son. Alain pales, fearing another confrontation with Tonio, but his cruel brother has already been found dead. The entire family gathers for Tonio's funeral. The patriarch sits bored, flanked by his mistresses. Alain is disgusted by his father's blatant disrespect. He realizes Tonio's death doesn't match the game's story. Leo gloats over Tonio's body, finally the sole heir. Alain sees through his brother's act of fake grief. He stands before his dead brother's open coffin. With the succession settled, Leo seizes the drug trade. Alain and his knight share a quiet moment together. He's become pen pals with Yusha, the Sin of Wrath. He reads reports that the future sins are happy kids. Evan notes the orphanage is getting more sponsors. The knight then brings up Alain's ongoing search. The Information Guild has found a clue he was looking for. He's finally closing in on the third boss. For a moment, the evening feels peaceful. But elsewhere, the night erupts in violence. Leo's men celebrate their expanding drug empire, but their celebration is cut brutally short. A strange power forces them to turn on each other. They lose all control of their own bodies. A puppet master forces a bloody massacre. A lone figure watches the slaughter unfold. He smiles, the master of this bloody puppet show. The puppet master questions their violent mission. His partner asks if he pities the drug lords. She says this is to build a home for their master, a place that must be perfect for their arrival. Their combined power begins to build and swirl. Everything they do is for their master's will. They unleash an explosion that levels the district. Their group, the Blue Moon, is their master's sword, leaving behind nothing but a perfect, empty crater. 2 years pass since Alain began writing to Yusha. Evan rushes through the halls, searching for Alain. He finally finds him in the garden, collapsing from exhaustion. The knight reports another target has been safely delivered. Alain is overcome with relief at the news. He rewards his exhausted knight with a well-deserved treat. Finding the third sin, greed, was a major struggle. But with Evan's help, the mission is finally over. Alain confirms it, a weight lifted from his shoulders. But Evan notes his master's complete lack of emotion. Alain tries to force a smile, but his face won't obey. Alain clenches his fist, savoring his victory. He relaxes, amazed at how smoothly his plan is going. He recalls the brutal experiments and torture they endured. These tragic pasts forged them into the 5 great sins. He knew saving them before their fall was nearly impossible, but he's giving them a safe haven to heal. Evan hands him a letter reporting on the orphanage. The knight recalls how the children arrived, once broken and empty dolls, but now they are finally cheerful and happy. Alain is surprised Yusha is caring for the others. He concludes she's a good kid, despite her destiny. The report confirms all the children are thriving. Alain believes a good environment can change fate, but Evan asks when he'll finally meet them. Alain admits he never plans to meet them at all. He remembers the horrific process that created the sins. Their tragic backstories from the game still haunt him. He stammers, pushing the meeting back 5 years. He must first develop his own power to survive. Alain discovers his new body has magical talent. Evan asks about a group called the Blue Moon. Alain dismisses them as an irrelevant variable, but Evan reveals they also assassinate nobles. The news terrifies Alain, who demands protection. That night, in a different part of the world, a white-haired girl with red eyes listens to a report. A cat-eared girl boasts about her latest mission. She took the heads of every last slave trader. This is Xiaoling, the future sin of pride. The sin of greed, Rhine reports melting the corpses. Another member confirms the southern territory is clear. He destroyed an illegal human experimentation facility and minced every last member of Avalon's crew. Their leader smiles, pleased with their master's will. They are the Blue Moon, a secret organization. But one of them suddenly reports a problem. He found a dangerous directive while cleaning up. The Count's eldest son is targeting their master. The leader's expression turns to murderous rage. Deos agrees, his face grim and determined. The other members tense up, sensing the shift. Yusha's fury erupts in a wave of red energy. 2 years later, Alain attends his father's funeral. The official cause of death is a heart attack, but Alain suspects the Blue Moon was involved. Nearby nobles confirm a brutal raid last night. They seem more worried about the mysterious group. With no one mourning, the funeral quickly ends. As Alain leaves, a man watches him intently. Evan asks what Alain plans to do now. He finds Alain packing, who tells him to pack too. Alain calmly declares they are leaving the territory. He clarifies their destination is to the south. Evan confirms their destination, a village called Roadmill. They set off for the small southern village of Roadmill, but their departure is being watched from above. It's his brother Leo smirking as they leave. The scene cuts to a simple breakfast being made. A new character happily prepares his simple meal. Alain and Evan enjoy a peaceful morning together, but he's dragged back for another funeral. This time it's his eldest brother Leo. He stares down at Leo's body in the coffin, killed by a sword straight through the heart. He tries to ask a guard for details, but the man recoils in absolute terror. Alain is baffled by the strange reaction. Just then, his knight Evan approaches him. Alain asks if he's learned anything new. Evan asks if Alain destroyed Avalon overnight. The servants now recoil from him in fear. The story flashes back to their journey to Roadmill. Evan questions his master's choice of destination, but Alain declares it's a crucial part of his plan. He's already saved the 5 great sins, and by doing so, averted the apocalypse. The future destroyers are now just happy children. Roadmill is a place outside the game's main story, a perfect place to retire and live in luxury. Evan presses Alain, refusing to accept his vague excuses. Alain is flustered by his knight's sharp perception. The flashback reveals Leo watching their carriage depart. He coldly debates whether to let his brother live. He'd planned to poison Alain after their father's death, but Alain's quiet exile has stayed his hand for now. Leo smirks, distracted by his failing criminal empire. His fingers tap impatiently on the stone railing. He orders a henchman to follow Alain's carriage. The man, Alain, asks if the mission is assassination. Leo is annoyed by his henchman's hesitation. Alain has always been blindly obedient until now. The sudden questions make Leo deeply suspicious. He snaps, ordering the man to do his job, but a blade suddenly bursts through his chest. His own henchman has betrayed and killed him. The assassin says he enjoys these little games. Alain smirks, enjoying his master's final moments. He follows the creed of the Blue Moon, a sword for their master, and anyone who threatens the Great Moon must die. The assassin's blade cuts through the night. He cuts down another guard, free to act on his own. Alain reveals he's waited 2 years for this order. With this, the entire Avalon organization will be erased. The assassin coldly mocks his dying master. He vanishes into the night, his mission complete. The scene shifts to a peaceful morning in town. Alain wakes up, stretching happily in his new life. He relishes the simple freedom of a quiet morning. He and Evan share a peaceful breakfast together. Alain savors his toast, dreaming of a simple life. But Evan bursts in, holding an urgent telegram. He takes the letter, his peaceful morning shattered. The message summons him back, his brother is dead. He's dragged back to the mansion for the funeral. He notices the servants recoiling in absolute terror. Evan asks how he orchestrated Avalon's destruction. The two sit together in a stunned, awkward silence. Alain desperately begs his knight for an explanation. Evan explains he's the only one who benefits from the murder. Alain is completely shell-shocked by the accusation. Evan explains that with Avalon gone, there are no loose ends. He's now the family's mastermind with a deadly assassin. Alain can't even begin to process this absurd situation. He argues no one could take down a boss so fast, but Evan names the Blue Moon. The knight considers them a possible culprit, but he dismisses the idea. The Blue Moon leaves only craters. Avalon's crew was slaughtered by swords, a hellish scene. Alain dismisses them, they weren't even in the game. Meanwhile, the Blue Moon's leader asks about any loose ends. Raiden, the sin of greed, confirms they left no survivors. Xiaoling eagerly draws her dagger to report. She grins, boasting about the mountains of corpses. Deos, the sin of sloth, begins his own report. He confirms Avalon had 486 members left to kill. He followed the master's orders without question. The assassin grins, boasting he slaughtered every last one. Yusha smiles, her eyes glowing with pure satisfaction. In just 5 days, they erased Avalon from existence. But she declares the cleanup isn't completely finished. He reveals a list of nobles connected to Avalon. The Altia Duke family was especially involved. Yusha listens, her expression unreadable. Her eyes flare with red light, a silent command. Deos accepts the mission without a word. Xiaoling and Rhine stand ready for the slaughter. A white-haired swordsman vows to kill them all. Yusha then asks about the Information Guild. They confirm the guild blames a lone swordsman. Deus reports the rumors, asking about surveillance. Yusha orders them to keep this from their master. He says they acted because their master was threatened. They are their master's swords, acting on his behalf. But Yusha reminds him that swords do not think. She warns that their master knows everything they do. Disappointing their savior is not an option. Deus can't understand why she is so nervous. The thought of being caught fills her with dread. He looks at the report, finally understanding. Their entire existence is for their master. Alain collapses, buried under a mountain of paperwork. For a month, he's worked without a moment's rest. His brother's deaths have shattered the game's timeline. Now, all of Avalon's business falls onto his shoulders. He can't understand the vassals' sudden diligence. They see a terrifying mastermind, not a tired boy. His reputation as a killer keeps them perfectly in line. Later, he takes a break to roast some potatoes. Evan approaches, looking at his master's training. He's amazed Alain reached the second circle so fast. Evan is stunned by his master's natural magical talent. But Alain only practiced out of sheer, desperate anxiety. His control over mana is already incredibly refined. But he knows there's a critical, hidden weakness. He's still amazed he can even use magic at all. He plans to study it properly once he's truly safe. But his power fizzles out, his mana capacity is tiny. A person's mana hole is a fixed measure of potential. He remembers his past life as a martial artist. His potential has always been tragically small. Evan presents an invitation to a noble ball. Alain looks up, completely uninterested. They arrive at a lavish, glittering party. Alain looks sharp in his formal attire, but he's already exhausted by the social scene. He decides to use the ball to build connections. With new resolve, he prepares to network. But the crowd parts before him in fear. A simple greeting sends a man reeling back. Everyone flees from the terrifying mastermind. Evan teases him, but Alain denies being upset. He expected this cold reception from the nobles. He knows the Palacio name is now disgraced. He's now known as the degenerate of the East, but he has a plan to win them over. He approaches a noblewoman, complimenting the wine. He tries to appreciate its unique, complex aroma. He attempts a gentle, disarming smile, but the woman is absolutely horrified by his expression. She faints in terror, promising him anything he wants. His reputation is now worse than his brother's. Evan misreads the situation, teasing Alain's charm. The terrified nobles keep sending them gifts. Evan reads a list of extravagant tributes. He's now a notorious scoundrel who killed his family. His plan to build connections has completely failed. Frustrated, he steps away to get some air. But a mysterious woman with red hair watches him go. Her crimson eyes follow his every move. Alain finds a moment of peace on the balcony. He wonders where his simple plan went so wrong. A soft voice suddenly interrupts his thoughts. He turns, shocked that anyone would approach him. He looks back toward the ballroom doors. A young woman stands there, waiting patiently. She introduces herself as Loria of the Altia family. The family name immediately rings a bell for Alain. He recalls they're one of the game's 3 masterminds. Of course, the one person to approach him is Trouble. But he can't recall this specific girl from the game. She cuts to the chase, a face he's never seen before. Loria begs for his strength, seeing a powerful figure. She reveals a shocking truth. She's about to be assassinated. She begs for his help, a target for assassination. She's a mistress's daughter, once protected by the Duke. But with her father dying, her sisters will kill her. Alain realizes she died before the game even started. She believes his rumored power can save her life. He immediately declines, but she's not asking for free. She offers half her family's fortune, but Alain walks away. He knows he's too weak to get involved in her family's drama. He turns his back, leaving her completely alone. Loria watches him go, her last hope fading. But a hand suddenly grabs his collar from behind. She offers a cryptic blessing as he leaves. Alain walks through the ballroom, a pariah among nobles. Elsewhere, a hooded figure reports the encounter. 2 observers note Loria is the only innocent Altia. She's not connected to Avalon, so she's not on their kill list. They agree to follow the Red Moon's orders. From the rafters, they watch the party below. They must keep their master from learning the truth. Alain is completely unaware of the eyes on him. A red-haired woman approaches, sensing a barrier. He's shocked, hoping to finally make a connection. But he immediately suspects she's another mastermind. No ordinary noble would dare to approach him. He greets her as Lady Zenonia, surprising her. Alain says she's famous for many reasons. He remembers the game's 3 great masterminds. His own family, Palacio, controlled the east, and the Zenonia family ruled the west. This is Kalia, the eldest Zenonia daughter. Her family are sophisticated corporate criminals. Alain just wants connections for a quiet life. He compliments her beauty, trying to be polite. She invites him to speak more privately. He refuses, desperate to escape the encounter. His strange behavior only confirms the rumors. She promises they'll meet again, leaving him baffled. With that, the mysterious woman walks away. He's left alone, confused by the strange encounter. But the Blue Moon observers have a new problem. Someone else is tailing Alain from the rafters. They drop down, ready to eliminate the new threat. The scene shifts. Evan questions his master's plan. They stand before a canyon, searching for something. Alain declares he's finally found his true objective. Glowing runes confirm this is the right place. The ball was just an excuse to reach a southern labyrinth. He recalls the dungeon's complex layout from the game. To clear it, he must solve riddles in 8 different rooms. He smirks, having memorized the entire walkthrough for an artifact. He and Evan approach the glowing entrance together. Alain admits seeing it in person feels different from the game. Evan notes the canyon walls look artificially carved. The knight asks how he knows this place but gets a vague answer. Alain jokes about knowing the way, but his serious face unnerves Evan. Suddenly, a monstrous shriek echoes from inside. Alain explains one wrong answer means instant death, but Alain remains completely unfazed by the danger. Evan marvels at his master's unreadable expression. He still can't understand Alain's grand plan. Alain casually solves a riddle as a golem attacks, but he trusts Alain because his deeds are always good. The knight wonders what his master is truly after. Alain looks sick, the brutal trial finally over. A door opens, revealing a room of glittering treasure. But Alain only wants one thing, a simple black ring. Evan questions the ring's value, but Alain warns him off. He finally holds the artifact, the restriction. Alain assures him the path back is completely safe. But Evan is baffled by his master's casual confidence. Suddenly, the canyon walls awaken into an army of golems. The knight draws his sword, ready to defend his master. But Alain steps forward, telling Evan he'll handle it. As the massive golems tower over him, Evan knows his master's magic is far too weak. But Alain calmly invokes the power of the restriction. He's enveloped in a blinding flash of energy. A cosmic voice demands he declare 2 restrictions. He's shocked this was just a menu in the game. The artifact places restrictions on him for a price. In exchange for a price, it grants immense power. He steels himself, ready to declare his first vow. His first vow, he will always use hand seals for magic. The cosmic voice asks what he wants in return. He demands the power to bend the world's laws. The voice permits it. He stands alone, the contract now sealed. The cosmic voice demands his second vow. He adds a second vow to use sacred incantations. The entity asks what power he desires in return. He wants the same reward, the power to bend reality. The ancient power silently judges his vow. He panics, wondering if he copied the game too literally. He's exploiting a game mechanic to maximize his power. He's betting everything on his perfect game knowledge. The entity accepts, honoring his forgotten knowledge. But the entity's gratitude leaves Alain completely baffled. The artifact's power settles, the contract now sealed. The entity leaves a final, cryptic promise. Evan screams that his master's magic is too weak. The massive golem prepares to strike them down. The knight is helpless against the monster's power. But Alain remains completely calm and focused. He knows his natural magic is pathetically weak. His tiny mana pool is an unbreakable limit. But now it's time to test his new power. He unleashes the full force of the restriction. He channels the raw, crackling energy. It erupts in a blinding flash of power. He commands a brilliant sun of pure magic. He calls forth a spell, Blue Light. His hands weave the complex seals for diffraction linear. He unleashes the spell with a single, focused thrust. A massive beam of energy tears through the canyon. Evan can only stare in utter disbelief. The attack vaporizes the golems in its path. In seconds, the entire golem army is just rubble. The blue light tears through the canyon's defenses. They stand in the silent, smoking aftermath. Evan can only stare, calling the power insane. He asks if his master was hiding his true power. The veteran knight has never seen such magic. Alain remains silent, his expression unreadable. He admits the power is far beyond the game's. He recalls the game's turn-based combat system. He enhanced his magic with 4 incantations, stacking the buffs over 5 turns for max power. He explains it was a large-scale lightning setup. The entity notes his forgotten knowledge doubled the magic's power. Even Alain admits the result was surprising. The knight collapses, the escape harder than the fight. Evan wonders who could have built such a terrible place. Alain remembers the labyrinth had another name. He recalls game forums calling it Palion's Labyrinth. He casually tells Evan his friend Palacio built it. He helps his dizzy knight, ready to head back east. Evan notes his master is surprisingly diligent. He explains how hand seals and incantations boost magic. In the game, it was just a simple stat boost. But here, each incantation visibly transformed the spell. He wonders if his mana control is exceptionally skilled. For now, he's just glad his plan worked. Elsewhere, a hooded figure sits under the moon. A close-up reveals their determined green eyes. They leap down into the now-empty canyon. The figure lands silently on the ground below. The tablet speaks of a forgotten foreign god. The hooded figure reveals herself, a determined woman. She reads the tablet's words about Palion's friend. Her hand traces the last of the fading runes. She recalls the legend of the great Emperor Palacio. Her knowledge comes from inheriting the ancient library. Alain's casual claim of friendship is deeply unsettling. She remembers the terrifying legend of the Bloody Queen. Palion's respected friend was known as the Great Moon. But Alain's incantations are completely unknown to her. She stares, questioning what kind of being he is. The hooded woman stands alone in the moonlit canyon. She regrets only following orders, seeing the truth now. She turns, sensing another figure has arrived. The assassin from the ball asks about her mission. He reports the black person's execution is complete. A flashback shows the target's neck snapping violently. He must now report the kill for dispose. The two assassins vanish into the night. The scene shifts to Kalia Zenonia's family estate. She confirms the terrifying rumors about Alain are true. She recalls his disturbingly emotionless eyes. He knew she was famous, but how? She confirms her father, the Count, is well known. But Alain knew her, a woman who avoids the public. She presents this strange fact to her father. The Count dismisses it, her fame is his by extension. But Kalia smirks, her eyes glowing with power. She unleashes a strange, hypnotic magic. Her father's will is completely broken by her spell. She's the true mastermind, and Alain somehow knew. Kalia admits there are too many eyes on him. A servant suddenly rushes towards her in a panic. He urges her to return to her room immediately. A dark, cursed figure looms over the man. He realizes she planted a deadly curse in his room. She smirks, impressed he figured it out. She's amazed Alain saw through her so quickly. Back in their room, Alain is exhausted. Their carriage approaches the Altia family estate. Loria smirks, confirming Alain is no ordinary man. She saw him as a ruthless underworld noble. He was her last hope, but he walked away. She knew he wouldn't take on her dangerous problems. Her cruel siblings have already stolen everything from her. Now she is completely alone with nothing. Returning home, she wonders how she'll survive now. A panicked maid rushes to greet her. She delivers shocking news: 2 of her siblings are dead. Loria stares in absolute, horrified disbelief. She knows they would never take their own lives. Loria reels, her siblings' names on her lips. The servant screams echo through the estate. She finds her siblings impaled, brutally murdered together. The gruesome sight leaves her completely stunned. Meanwhile, a white-haired assassin leaps from the roof. He smirks, confirming the disposal is complete. His blade flashes as he vanishes into the night. Loria is left alone amidst the carnage. She recalls Alain's cryptic parting words. She now sees him as a mastermind hiding his claws. She sees the true mastermind of the Palacio family. His cryptic words now make terrifying sense. Like him, she is now the sole heir to her family. She stands alone in the silent, empty halls. She wonders what devil's bargain she has made. She knows what happens to those who cross him. With no other choice, she accepts her new path. 2 months pass in a blur of change. A messenger from the new Duke Altia arrives. He opens the gift, revealing a rare, expensive wine. Evan marvels at the wine, a bottle worth thousands in gold. But the card is from Loria Altia, confusing Alain. The messenger confirms the Duke personally sent the gift. Alain is stunned, slowly connecting the dots. He realizes Loria is now the new Duke Altia. The scene shifts to Loria, 2 months into her new role. After her father's death, she officially became the Duke. She recalls her siblings' murders, a crime she was never blamed for. Her alibi was solid, she was at the ball, completely powerless. When she returned home, she had truly lost everything. Loria wonders if Alain exploited her desperation. He publicly refused, then secretly eliminated her rivals. She's terrified by how many moves ahead he is. He must need the Altia family for his master plan. Her own power is nothing compared to his hidden forces. He's an underworld boss with immense wealth. But he needs something she has: political prestige. She stands alone, surrounded by portraits of the dead. For now, she will wait for her benefactor's call. She hopes he enjoyed her expensive thank you gift. The messenger takes his leave, the gift delivered. Alain is baffled by this unexpected turn of events. Several months pass, bringing winter to the estate. Alain walks through the halls, lost in thought. Evan asks if he should now call him Count. This new title was never part of his simple plan, but he admits the perks of nobility are growing on him. Evan hands him a sealed letter from Yusha. Alain asks about his brother's assassins. Evan questions if his master is planning revenge. He denies seeking revenge, preparing for any butterfly effects. Evan teases him for finally sounding like a proper count. He opens the letter, wondering what news Yusha has sent. The letter details the children's happy lives and new hobbies. Xiaoling has found joy playing games with her friends. Ryan reads and gardens, while Raiden has taken up landscaping. He smiles, feeling like a proud father to the children he saved. He suddenly asks Evan how old the children are now. Evan confirms they're old enough to enter society soon, but the image of their happy lives suddenly shatters. The five sins bow in unison, thanking him for their lives. He awkwardly decides it's time for them to find their own paths. Evan questions his timing, but Alain says they're finally healthy. He hopes his care has stopped them from awakening as sins. He recalls their game lore. Yusha had a talent for faith. Deos was a prodigy with the sword. Ryan possessed a brilliant mind for research. Xiaoling was a natural-born warrior. And Raiden was destined to be a divine apostle. He plans to use their talents to secure them bright futures. Alain decides to send gifts along with the letters. A quiet winter evening settles over the estate. With a triumphant cheer, he finally finishes his work. Evan eagerly sets off to deliver the messages. Alain hopes this will set the children free. But in the shadows, Yusha receives her letter. She calls it a directive sent to each of them. Xiaoling is ecstatic to receive a personal order. While Ryan smiles, Yusha's gaze remains cold. The five sins stand united, holding their new orders. Deus holds his letter as Xiaoling celebrates her own. Ryan and Raiden quietly read their personal orders. Yusha says they must first review their master's old letters. She explains their master now trusts them all with his plans, but the letters sound like casual, friendly conversation. Yusha reveals the casual tone is a disguise for their orders. His friendly letters were actually coded kill orders. He entrusted the blue moon to her, choosing each of them personally. She tells Deus they must interpret the hidden meanings, but Raiden questions why they use such an insecure method. Yusha's eyes glow, their only purpose is to follow. Raiden is shaken by her chilling faith, but he agrees. Xiaoling eagerly calls everyone to read their new orders. The scene shifts to a dark, dusty storage room. The five sins gather, each reading their personal letter. Deus is sent to Caliburn. Xiaoling hates her desert mission. Raiden is sent to the entertainment city, Ryan to the labyrinth. Yusha smiles, her own mission takes her to the Holy Kingdom. She confirms the letters detail their individual missions. Deus is confused by his order, become a knight. Ryan notes the letters also mention gifts. Yusha gives them one final, critical order. The name Blue Moon is absolutely forbidden. With their missions clear, the five sins depart. They scatter to their assigned locations across the land. 3 months later, Alain is deep in his research. He finds no books on incantations or magic transformations. He asks Evan about his brother's assassins, but there are no leads. He wonders if saving the sins has broken the timeline. Loria, who should have died, is now a powerful duke. And Loria is rapidly expanding her underworld forces. He abruptly calls off the investigation into the assassins. He knows the Information Guild's network is inescapable. Digging into this broken timeline is far too dangerous. If preparing for a threat only leads to death, it's pointless. He knows these secret societies only kill when provoked. Evan accepts the order, ending the investigation. But Evan has other news. Deus was knighted in Caliburn. Alain is stunned. Deus created an entire knight order. That means Deus is already an expert-level swordsman. Evan says Deus could be a master knight in a decade. Alain feels a surge of pride for the talented boy. 6 months pass, the estate quiet and peaceful. A year later, Evan arrives with urgent news. He reports Deus is now one of Caliburn's 5 swords. Alain is shocked, asking if he's a master knight. He thought only sword masters held that title. Sword masters are superhumans with a unique power. But Evan clarifies Deus isn't quite at that level yet. He earned the title by defeating the 4th sword. Alain learns a master knight fell in the Northern War. Evan explains that reaching such a level takes decades. He recalls the game's youngest master knight, Reinhardt. Reinhardt was a prodigy who trained since he was 5. But even that genius took 20 years to reach master rank. He wonders if Deus will soon become a sword master too. But his proud thoughts quickly turn to disappointment. Of all the children, only Yusha ever sends him letters. Her reports confirm the others are in contact with each other. He feels a bit hurt they never even thanked him. He tries to be grateful they aren't destroying the kingdom. As long as the children are living well, he's content. The scene shifts to Kurdem, Caliburn's capital. This is the home of the Eclipse Knight Order. Elite knights march through the city streets. A lone figure walks through the sunlit halls. It's Deus, now the youngest Master Knight captain. He looks out to see a young girl below. A young girl with purple hair waves to her brother. Deus greets her with a rare, gentle smile. Deus looks away, a faint blush on his cheeks. He's embarrassed, recalling a memory from a year ago. Dark entities once tore his entire world apart. All that remained was his sister's crystal, and an uncontrollable burning rage. He remembers being a broken boy in a dark cell. He clutched the only memento of his sister. The great moon offered him a path to revenge. His life became a series of deadly missions. He fought recklessly with no regard for his own life. For years, he fought to oppose the dark entities. Then he received his first solo mission from his master. The order was strange, completely unexpected. It sent him to a small inn with a gift waiting. But Deus had no interest in material rewards. He followed the order, entering the strange location. Inside, he sees something that shatters his composure. He runs towards a familiar face, a ghost from his past. His hand reaches out, trembling with disbelief. He collapses, embracing the sister he thought was dead. The sister he thought was lost forever. He breaks down, clinging to what's precious as life. The two siblings embrace in a tearful reunion. He asks his sister, Silly, what happened to her. She gently wipes away his tears, smiling. They sit together, finally able to talk. Silly recounts being dragged away by the dark entities. She was thrown in a cage, waiting for her turn to die. The moment of her execution finally arrived, but a mysterious hand pulled her from the darkness. Years later, she was captured and sold to slave traders. But a cloaked swordsman cut through the darkness to save her. A mercenary named Evan cut her free from her captors. She was given medicine and a safe place to recover. A card from Alain promised her and her brother protection. She holds the card, eternally grateful to her savior. He's stunned Alain would risk his own name to save her. He never spoke of his family, not even to Yusha. He realizes their master, the Great Moon, knows everything. The realization deepens his unwavering loyalty. All his doubts finally click into place. He never understood Yusha's unwavering faith. He realizes he was the foolish one all along. He recalls Alain's promise of good things to come. Every cryptic word now carries a new weight. Alain knew everything, guiding the boy who lost it all. His sister's voice pulls him from his thoughts. He acted on his own, a sword without a master. But Alain generously overlooked his foolishness. Now his loyalty is absolute and unbreakable. He was once lost to hatred and revenge, but his sister's survival was an impossible gift. Yusha's words echo in his mind. He finally understands her unwavering faith. His mission wasn't blind faith but a promise. He must repay the man who saved his family. His new goal, become a master knight. A knight reports that it's time to move. He steps out to address his new knight order. The elite guard he created stands ready. He grips his sword, a symbol of his new vow. He will prove his worth under the Great Moon's watch. His Eclipse Knight order marches into the frozen north. Meanwhile, Alain enjoys a rare moment of peace. But a sudden gust scatters his research note. He scrambles to catch all the flying pages. His messy handwriting makes the notes hard to read. He decides to finally organize his research on incantations. He's been studying them ever since the labyrinth. His notes reveal how incantations alter magic's properties. Refraction strengthens his magic, spreading its range. Repulsion crushes projectiles, altering their very form. Blue light enhances parallel magic like lightning. Diffraction linear grants armor-piercing critical hits. The spell tears through his enemies effortlessly. His limited mana made figuring out the rules a slow process. This ancient magic is forgotten, with no written guides. He's been buried in books, searching for any clue. His research led him to focus on self-defense magic. After 2 months, he's ready to test his findings. He forms the seals, gathering crackling energy. Alain summons a storm of lightning above him. He creates an imbalance, a sphere of pure mana. The unstable energy hangs in the air before him. He compresses the sphere, focusing its immense power. With a single gesture, he unleashes the spell. A massive pillar of blue energy erupts skyward. The raw power towers over the entire estate. He realizes the order of incantations is critical. His first attempt failed by using collapse too early. He stares, unable to believe his own power. But his experiment was not a private one. The Count is stunned, recognizing the magic's origin. Alain is baffled. Why is Kalia Zenonia here? The Count realizes this is 7th circle magic. Alain has never heard of origin magic before. The Count asks if this is the man she spoke of. In Caliburn, the king once begged Deos to join him. The scene shifts to the Palacio family's reception room. Kalia explains the 2 reasons for her visit. Her first goal, to confirm Alain's threat to her family. Her second, to measure the power that backs him. She believes a powerful organization is protecting him. But now she sees her arrogant father trembling. He's a fifth circle mage expelled for dark experiments. She's never seen him show such profound fear. The Count wonders if he witnessed origin magic. Kalia is stunned by her father's terror. Alain enters the room completely composed. He calmly asks what brings them to his home. The Count apologizes for their sudden, rude visit. Alain dismisses Kalia's flimsy excuse for being there. He makes one thing perfectly clear to them. The magic he used was only second circle. He claims the spell has no combat utility. His words are a clear, unspoken threat. The Count stammers, agreeing he saw nothing at all. Alain asks them the real reason for their visit. Kalia claims they were just passing by to greet him, but Alain quickly dismisses them, ending the talk. The Count quickly accepts his dismissal and leaves, but Alain offers Kalia one last piece of advice. He suggests she meet with the new Duke Altia. The unexpected suggestion leaves Kalia visibly shaken. She quickly recovers, agreeing to his request. Their carriage departs from the Palacio estate. Evan wonders why the Zenonia family even came, but Alain is just annoyed by the whole ordeal. He worries rumors of his power will attract challengers. Evan notes the two families are underworld rivals. He's tired of powerful families showing up unannounced. The Zenonia carriage departs, the Count shaken by Alain's magic. Kalia asks if he truly witnessed origin magic. Her father denies it, but his terror is obvious. He explains origin magic rewrites the world's absolute laws, but he saw Alain spell through a magic lens. He perceived a being of terrifying, absolute power. The Count screams that Alain was fixing lightning, twisting and collapsing the very laws of nature, and yet the magic still somehow manifested. The Count calls it an impossible miracle. Behind the magic, he saw something else. He perceived a terrifying, absolute being. The vision is too dangerous to even think about. As an expert in forgotten magic, he makes a declaration. Never ever cross Count Palacio. Kalia realizes it's pointless to guess his motives. She decides to follow his advice and visit Duke Altia. She understands she is now just a pawn in his game. 5 months later, 2 years have passed since the children left. Alain calls for Evan, ready for a report. He asks for news, hoping to hear about the children. Evan reveals the Zenonia and Altia families have allied. He confirms it's a secret but certain underworld agreement. Alain panics, wondering if the kingdom will fall. He can't believe they actually took his words seriously. He recalls his casual suggestion to Kalia. He tries to dismiss it as a temporary alliance. Evan hands him a formal report on the matter. Alain immediately begins writing a careful apology to Kalia. He hands Evan the apology letter for Kalia Zenonia. With that crisis averted, he worries about the others. He fears Xiaoling might have already died somewhere, but he sent her a gift to make her a top warrior. A gauntlet that awakens her power, not her sin. He clearly remembers the item's game description. He hopes his tips on treasure were enough for her. The scene shifts to the harsh desert nation, a desolate landscape under a starry sky. And there Xiaoling stands alone in the wasteland. Xiaoling roars in triumph, the trial's finally over. She thanks the great moon for his incredible gift. She thought the golden mane's essence was a myth, but the stories from her childhood were all true. A flashback to her youth, learning of the legend. Her people descend from the king of all beastfolk. The essence grants its wielder immense power and authority. She found the legendary gauntlet, just as Alain said. She passed its trials, unleashing a torrent of power. The legend is real and its power is now hers. She knows the great moon gave her this chance. He gave her the power to avenge her parents. Now she is determined to repay that debt. A torrent of golden energy erupts around her. Her goal isn't to be a simple gladiator. Her true mission is finally clear to her. She will become the strongest and reunite her tribe. She unleashes her newfound power into the sky. The warrior stands alone in the silent desert. Everything she does now is for her master. With a confident smirk, Xiaoling is ready to begin. She will resurrect the legendary Golden Mane tribe. Back at the estate, Alain considers the children's fates. Evan reports the Information Guild has news on the kids. Xiaoling is now a famous warrior called the Golden Flash. In the desert, raw power is the only law. He asks about Raiden, but the intel is still thin. Alain suddenly asks Evan if he's busy. He tells Evan to prepare for a month-long trip to the Magic Tower. They're not going to the Green Tower, but the distant Blue Tower. Evan agrees, preparing for their long journey. Alain dreads the trip, his weak mana a constant burden. He recalls the Labyrinth City from his old game. It was an endless dungeon, a prime spot for leveling. In the game, even cheaters couldn't find the bottom floor. The real labyrinth also yields priceless artifacts. Raiden is set to become a certified magic appraiser. He worries the gift he sent her wasn't enough. He'll provide more support if she ever needs it. This is the city of explorers, ruled by no one. In the Labyrinth City, a secret shop thrives. It's called Merd, serving only the elite. Even the powerful Lord of Lartania is a client. Rhine, now a master appraiser, presents her work. She's engraved a relic, a powerful mana lantern. Its efficiency is now overwhelmingly improved. The satisfied Lord departs, another job well done. Once alone, Rhine finally removes her mask. She's grown, her gaze sharp and focused. Her workshop is filled with strange and powerful artifacts. She picks up another artifact, ready for engraving. Her work done, she leaves the workshop behind. She recalls the gift sent by the Great Moon. His order to become an appraiser was confusing. She knew her master fought the dark entities, but this mission seemed completely unrelated to that fight. How could appraising items help defeat the darkness? Then she entered the room where his gift waited, a tool that could identify low-level magic items, but touching it revealed its true, unrecorded power. The artifact shatters and reforms with immense power. It was the Eye of Truth, a legendary sealed relic. Rhine knew she had to awaken it to fight the darkness. She began feeding it offerings, one relic at a time. Each engraving channeled a relic's power into the eye. She needed 500 offerings to unleash its full potential. The eye absorbs an item's essence to grow stronger. Only high-class relics would work as offerings, a task only she with her eternal library could do. All this power was to kill one target, the Black Wolf. Everything is done according to the Great Moon's will. 3 weeks later, they arrive at the Blue Tower. The Vice Master, a sixth-circle mage, dismisses them. She has no time for them, demanding they be quick. He recognizes her as a genius from the game. The tower's monopoly gives it power equal to nobles. Despite her immense authority, he introduces himself. He gets straight to the point, the time gate. He makes a shocking claim: he can destroy the gate. The gate is a dangerous rift unleashing monsters. The Vice Master scoffs at his meager talent. She waves them off, refusing to even listen. She sarcastically agrees, calling his bluff. She's heard these empty promises countless times. Alain insists he can prove his words are true. She accuses him of seeking fame as a new count. A wave of immense magical power fills the room. Alain and Evan struggle against the crushing pressure. She radiates an aura of absolute magical authority. He understands this as power that could kill him instantly. Alain stands firm against her crushing magical aura. He offers his entire fortune if he fails to close the gate. The Vice Master stares him down, intrigued by his wager. She leads him to the chamber, reminding him of the stakes. She admits she was testing his true capabilities. His reckless confidence makes her think he's a fool. Alain enters, his weak magic confirming her suspicions. She explains that time gates usually close themselves, but this particular gate has been open for 2 years. She scoffs, telling him to leave if he can't act. She notes he's using his hands, a primitive technique. She tells him to stop his foolish act, but it's too late. A strange energy emanates from Alain's body. Suddenly, a terrifying presence fills the chamber. The Vice Master stares up in absolute horror. The immense pressure freezes everything in the room. She's paralyzed, unable to move a single muscle. But Alain's eyes see the gate's complex structure. She's witnessing something beyond her comprehension. He understands the essence of this impossible magic. Her mind screams, perceiving a being beyond comprehension. In her vision, a terrifying red eye opens. It belongs to a being of absolute cosmic power. A colossal hand reaches down from the darkness. Alain commands it with a single, unspoken order. The Vice Master submits, understanding his demand. The horrifying presence slowly begins to fade. She's left trembling as reality returns. The chamber is still, the time gate sealed. Alain has done the impossible, closing the rift. He claims the relic from the gate as his prize. He hopes his theatrical bluff was convincing enough. Her terrified face makes him think his bluff failed. She chases after him, vowing to keep his secret. She swears her lips are sealed, her eyes wide with fear. He's completely baffled by her sudden change in attitude. He tells Evan it's time to head back home, but the Vice Master calls out, stopping him. She eagerly offers him a box of her own potions. He's surprised to receive a top-grade, custom potion. She nervously offers him a potion worth a villa. Alain wonders if she's this grateful just for the gate. She offers to swear a binding mana oath. He tries to tell her she's misunderstanding everything, but she's already casting the powerful oath spell. Magical chains bind them in an unbreakable vow. Alain realizes this misunderstanding is now permanent. The Blue Tower is now bound to him by that oath. He leaves with his relic and some very expensive potions. Evan examines the relic, questioning its simple appearance. Alain tells Evan the relic is absolutely essential. It's the mark of the unjust, a mana-storing bracelet. The gems glow, holding more mana than he can. He scoffs at his body's pathetic mana capacity, but his goal is research, not frontline fighting. For self-defense, this extra mana is enough. He still wonders what the Vice Master misunderstood. Her sudden politeness was incredibly suspicious. He told her he was second circle, and she agreed too eagerly. Her reaction was just like Kalia's, another misunderstanding. He leaves the terrified Zenonias in his wake. Kalia and her father are frozen in absolute terror. The Vice Master forces a smile, deeply unsettled. But Alain dismisses them, sure he'll never see them again. Weeks later, a carriage travels through the countryside. It arrives at the Grand Altia Ducal estate. Inside, Duke Loria Altia greets her guest, Lady Zenonia. Kalia returns the greeting with a confident smile. She praises Alain's judgment in bringing them together. She recalls his advice to visit the Duke. Kalia says she quickly understood his true meaning. She recalls her private conversation with Duke Loria Altia. Loria was stunned by the news she shared. Kalia explained the new power dynamic Alain created. He is an absolute power, making resistance meaningless. Their two families must now work together to survive. Loria asks why she's visiting before their official summit. Kalia reveals Alain sent a letter, sparking Loria's curiosity. The letter is a formal apology for his past behavior, but Kalia explains it's no ordinary letter of apology. Kalia is certain his letter holds a hidden directive. Loria agrees they must decipher its meaning together. They recall Alain meeting nobles from opposing factions. If he rejects both sides, what is his true goal? They decide to reach a common-sense conclusion. He plans to destroy the nobility and build a new regime. Loria now understands her role as his Western power. Kalia confirms this is the only logical path forward. With their purpose clear, they begin to plot their next move. Meanwhile, at the Blue Tower, news of Alain's feat spreads. The Tower Master demands every single detail from her. The Vice Master is terrified, unable to refuse. Meanwhile, Alain nearly chokes on his dinner. He quickly blames a poorly chewed sweet potato. Evan calmly hands him water, ever the professional. Alain is just tired of it all, wanting to be home. He expects to hear from Yusha soon. Far away, bells toll at a grand cathedral. A woman with white hair smiles knowingly. Yusha has become a powerful, high-ranking priestess. The Vice Master's all-seeing eye is a rare, innate talent. The Tower Master returns, calling for his disciple Fenia. The 8th Circle Tower Master Selim enters the room. He finds Fenia frozen in absolute terror. She greets him, but her terrified state shocks the Tower Master. She collapses onto her desk, completely drained. Her master recalls her usual arrogance, fueled by talent. She was known for her prideful and difficult personality. He believed reaching a higher level of magic would humble her. But seeing her so broken, he wonders what could have happened. Fenia struggles to explain what she witnessed. The Tower Master confirms Alain closed the gate, but her magical oath prevents her from saying how. She can only repeat that it happened, nothing more. He wonders what could shatter her legendary pride. She's too defeated to even push his hand away. This Count Palacio is becoming very interesting. A month passes back at the Palacio estate. Alain's new relic has accelerated his research. He discovers a new, crucial rule for incantations. Alain puzzles over his new discovery. Evan notes his magic is growing stronger each day. It's on a completely different level than before. His second circle spell now craters the very earth. Alain admits he felt a change but isn't sure why. It's not just practice, proficiency only refines a spell, and incantations just alter a spell's properties. His research confirms arrangement offers only minor boosts. He dismisses it, but Evan arrives with a letter. It's from Yusha, a welcome distraction. Evan asks if he's already finished for the day. Alain wonders what could make his magic stronger. He considers a curse but dismisses the idea. Or perhaps he's receiving faith from someone. But he's just a minor count, an absurd thought. He decides it's best to just ignore the mystery. The scene shifts to the Holy Kingdom of Rosario. Inside the Eastern Prayer House, a knight approaches. He greets a hooded priestess with respect. It's Yusha greeting the knight Sir Roque. Sir Roque recalls Yusha's humble rank as a nun, yet he bows to her with the utmost respect. He reports saving dozens of lives, all thanks to her. Yusha humbly gives him all the credit for his deeds. He remembers when he was nothing and she taught him. His gratitude for her guidance is absolute. A flashback to a time his sword fell from his grasp. He was once a broken knight, defeated and lost. Yusha appeared, offering him a path forward. She told him to place his faith in the moon. He questioned her strange faith in the moon. She promised that true belief would bring clarity. Her words gave the broken knight a new hope. He prayed for days and a miracle occurred. He felt guilty for abandoning his goddess, Shirnia, but the power he wielded felt just as holy. His faith was rewarded, his purpose renewed. He now asks why she guided him to the moon. She explains faith is easier with tangible proof, and the moon is a very real, tangible being. She preaches that the moon is always watching over them. The knight agrees, equating their goddess with the moon. This new faith gives certainty to those filled with doubt. He bows deeply, expressing his sincere gratitude to her. She says if he is truly grateful, he will join her. With a knowing smile, she asks him to pray with her. The knight readily agrees, his loyalty now absolute. She notes that many have gathered for prayer time. They walk through a cathedral filled with new followers. Yusha leads the way, a prophet for her new god. Yusha stands before her massive congregation. She taps the lectern, ready to begin. She calls everyone to prayer, her voice echoing. Their prayers are directed to the great moon. Yusha smiles, a prophet for her new god. Back at the estate, Alain checks his mail. He sits at his desk, reading the latest letter. It's another simple update from the children. They're all doing well, which is a relief. But only Yusha writes, leaving him feeling lonely. To them, he's just a kind, unseen uncle. He kept them from destroying the world. At least Yusha writes to him every month. He raised 5 kids, but only one is grateful. Evan's sudden appearance startles him from his thoughts. Alain awkwardly asks why he's still there. Evan has new information from the guild. It's news about Raiden, the one he asked about. The report is simple, she became a pirate. Alain demands every single detail of this new development. Evan reports that Xiaoling and Deos are making headlines. Xiaoling has already racked up 32 consecutive wins. But Alain recalls the top warrior is the Lion King. He remembers that character from his old game. He worries she'll soon surpass that pinnacle of strength. Evan then moves on to Deos's Knight Order. His order executed a powerful barbarian chieftain. They are monsters transformed by dark rituals. These superhumans are a terrifying force to face. Alain knows this enemy well from the games. He's relieved that threat requires the 5 great sins. Evan reports Deus now rivals the legendary first sword. Alain regrets missing out on the rewards from that. Next, he reports on Rhine's mysterious appraisal shop. Alain listens, his expression unreadable. He finally asks the question he's been dreading. Evan confirms she's in the pirate archipelagos. She's become the captain of the largest island. The news sends Alain into a state of shock. A silly online post has become his terrifying reality. Alain despairs, he never wanted her to be a pirate. He recalls her lore, a sea god race born for the water. He'd suggested treasure hunting, not piracy. Evan is impressed, but Alain is just tired. He asks how she possibly defeated the first captain. Every captain there is a superhuman warrior. The 7 pirate groups are undefeated in naval combat. He realizes she must have found the best ancient gear. He recalls grinding for the gear she used to seize power. He sighs, knowing life rarely goes as planned. Alain clutches his chest, a father's heart broken. The scene shifts to the massive maritime city of Laxus. Off its coast lie the 7 pirate paradises. The largest of them all is the first archipelago. The previous captain, Red Slayer Alcroyd, was defeated. He was a blessed warrior, but he fell swiftly. And in his place stands the new captain, Raiden. She looks out over her new domain, deep in thought. But one question still lingers in her mind. What exactly is the great moon she serves? She once saw the great moon as just a kind uncle. She mostly just followed Yusha's lead at first. But his direct order made no sense to her. He told her to become a simple treasure hunter. But her heart burned for immediate revenge. She remembers the dark entities that massacred her people. Her peaceful island tribe was dragged into darkness. She escaped only to watch hunters kill her parents. The hunters murdered them and sold her into slavery. Her life became a nightmare of chains and despair. She thought treasure hunting had nothing to do with revenge. But for now, she'd pretend to follow his orders. A distant celebration catches her attention. Her eyes glow, scanning a board of wanted posters. On a ship, pirates are celebrating their newfound power. Their captain boasts of blessings from a heavenly king. But Raiden knows the truth about their stolen power. The heavenly king is just a lie to hide their crimes. Their power comes from rituals using her people's bodies. And she will hunt them down to avenge her parents. She remembers those damn hunters. They divided her parents' bodies. They took the 7 pieces for themselves. Now she will hunt every last one of them. She watches the pirates celebrate their stolen power. But she wonders how the Great Moon knew. She never told him her tragic story. It's as if he arranged this chance for revenge. But she can't strike them down just yet. They are superhumans wielding the sea god's power. If everything was intentional on his part, then the gift he sent must have a purpose. The Great Moon must have arranged all of this. He guided her to this exact place and time. He set the perfect stage for her revenge. The scene shifts to a sun-drenched tropical island. Raiden steps to the edge of a high cliff. She leaps, diving into the ocean far below. She plunges deep beneath the waves. Underwater, the relic awakens with a surge of power. The Great Moon's gift, Amrita's goggles, activates. They helped her find powerful relics in the deep sea. She discovers a chest filled with ancient artifacts. She emerges from the water onto the shore. She realizes grateful is too small a word. The great moon has kept his every promise. He didn't just point her to her enemies. He gave her the power to destroy them all. Now she finally understands his true intention. He wanted her to take revenge and rule the seas. She reminds herself that everything she does now is for the great moon, a once hollow phrase. But his words now shine with the light of trust. His will is now engraved deep within her heart. Her loyalty is absolute, her purpose unwavering. She stands on the shore, a warrior reborn. 3 months later, autumn arrives in Asteria. Alain is being dragged to a mandatory social event. Their carriage joins a procession of other nobles. Evan reports 2 other families have joined their convoy. Alain finds the noble custom of traveling together bothersome. But that evening, he learned the real threat. In a tavern, he overheard some condescending whispers. 2 nobles mocked him for his small escort, assuming he was just a poor, lucky fool. His family once controlled the entire eastern underworld, but he abandoned that life, wanting peace and safety. His withdrawal, however, created a power vacuum. Now, lesser wolves fight over the territory he left behind. The world now sees him as a lucky fool, not a mastermind. The nobles mock his lack of funds with fake pity. Alain is shocked they'd say it to his face. His eyes narrow, taking in their petty insults. He realizes they've formed a victim support group. 2 bitter families venting their past grievances. But he never even exploited them in the first place. Evan arrives unimpressed by their endless whining. Alain decides to ignore them, asking about the food. Evan presents a simple snack, roasted corn. They enjoy the food, tuning out the petty drama. The nobles mock him for losing his underworld influence. But Alain just finds their insults strangely musical. He's more concerned with the lack of butter on his corn. The scene shifts to a cold and distant land. The northern lands, a frozen waste ruled by barbarians. A cursed place where only the dead litter the snow. A defeated barbarian struggles to rise from the ground. He is one of the 8 great barbarian chieftains. For his people, an honorable death in battle is glorious. But he was defeated by a cowardly ambush. He clutches his chest, blood spraying from his lips. The chieftain collapses, his body hitting the frozen ground. He wonders what became of his tribe, the Kurga. All that remains are shattered swords and severed limbs. He laments this disgraceful end, unable to die in peace. A dark presence appears before his fading eyes. A voice tells him to call upon its great name. It commands him to speak the name he once revered. He whispers a final prayer to Lord Ultultus. The snow begins to swirl around him. The chieftain's body slumps into the snow. His fingers twitch, clawing at the frozen earth. Suddenly, a dark power surges through his veins. He roars the name of his god into the storm. A shadowy entity answers his desperate prayer. It promises to grant his deepest desire. Back on the road, the noble convoy continues its journey. The other nobles continue to mock Alain's small entourage. But Alain simply ignores them, a gamer's first rule. He's more interested in fishing for his dinner. The convoy decides to make camp for the night. Alain's indifference wins against their desperate provocations. The nobles confirm he only has 1 night. They see this as proof he's just an empty shell. Now they can finally expand their underworld influence. They dream of the power and riches they'll seize. They decide to teach Alain a very painful lesson. The 2 nobles share a sinister, knowing glance. Suddenly, one of their knights senses danger. A horde of monsters emerges from the dark forest. The knights draw their swords, preparing for battle. Alain casually raises a wand, casting an illumination spell. Bright flares burst across the night sky. The light reveals a horde of monstrous goblins. The nobles' knights stare, surprised by the enemy. One of them scoffs, dismissing them as weak monsters. Goblins are usually weak, a common forest pest. But their overwhelming numbers can be deadly. A knight falls, his armor stained with blood. The arrogant noble's confidence shatters into fear. A hulking goblin stands over the bodies of fallen knights. The guards realize the entire outer watch has been slaughtered. These are no ordinary goblins, they are monstrous mutants. Their bodies are infused with mana, a terrifying new breed. A massive club smashes into the earth with brutal force. The goblins charge, their speed and power far beyond normal. They tear through the knights' formation with ease. The ground shatters under the weight of their assault. The nobles' forces are being completely overwhelmed. These crystal-infused goblins are a whole new threat. A swirling vortex of magic engulfs the goblin horde. The noble's mage identifies the powerful defensive spells, but Alain is already enhancing his next attack. The knights watch as Evan prepares for any stragglers. Alain compresses the spell, focusing its immense power. Jagged rocks erupt, tearing through the goblin ranks. The monsters are crushed by the overwhelming force. The vortex condenses into a single, terrifying sphere. The other knights can only stare in disbelief. Alain stands before the horde, a god of destruction. He clenches his fist, casting a powerful vacuum spell. Jagged rocks are suspended in a swirling magical field. He unleashes a spell to return them to dust. His monastoring relic glows with immense power. The spell detonates, obliterating the goblin horde. He stands calmly amidst the carnage he created. The two arrogant nobles are frozen in pure shock. Their knights can only stare at the aftermath. Alain snaps them out of it, ordering them to fight. The knights finally rally, preparing for the stragglers. The knights finally charge, cleaning up the stragglers. But Alain isn't finished with his little demonstration. He unleashes another wave of crushing magical force. Evan moves in, a blur of deadly steel. He effortlessly cuts down any monster still standing. The chaos of battle gives way to silence. The last of the goblins are swiftly put down. The ground is a wasteland of shattered rock and bodies. The arrogant noble emerges, relieved it's finally over. His knights stare, completely stunned by the display. The knights can only stare, wondering who this person is. Alain stands over the glowing relic, asking what that was. Internally, he's panicking, realizing he almost died. His daily spell count is pathetic, leaving him powerless. Evan rushes to his side, asking if he's hurt. Alain recalls the terror of being defenseless mid-battle. He insists he's fine, glad he wasn't traveling alone. But the amethyst crystal raises a serious question. A divine descent has occurred in this very spot. An outer lord's influence makes monsters far deadlier. Alain stands in the aftermath, his mind reeling. These beings only appear after the world's laws shatter. The crystal reflects a future of fire and ruin. But the kids haven't awakened as the sins yet. He resolves to gather intel as soon as they arrive. If this continues, his own head will roll. Meanwhile, the two nobles are frozen in terror. The next day, they arrive at the Roediger estate. Alain finally stumbles out, drained from the journey. The curtain rises on the grand social season. He's completely spent, wanting only to go home and sleep.